social media from a woman's lens. How important is social media from society's point of view, from a woman's point of view? Well, we got some adults here today to talk about what's important, what's not important, how they view it, and how they see it. Stay tuned, y'all. Social media through a woman's lens. So we all have social media as this platform. So why we have men and women here today is because I want to get from a man's perspective of what he think women see through social media and what he sees from the outside looking in. And I want to know from my ladies, what is your objective of social media? What do you guys want to get out of it? What do you do it for?
Okay. So I think that there's so many reasons why people and women specifically use social media, and I think that social media as a platform has grown increasingly as far as specifically like in business. Like so many women are using it as a business, and there's a lot of women who actually like make money and have a full career from just social media, you know? So I think that in general, it's so much more different than what it was when it first got created. Like Instagram especially, I feel like a lot of women have been using it as a platform to either brand themselves or brand their businesses, and I think it's great. I mean, I think that it's a new way to market yourself, market your brand, market your business, and I don't know, I think there's so many different ways that you can look at it, but I think that it's a good thing, and I think that it's kind of like a new age way of just marketing online in general.
Well, do you feel like it's tough for you to try to keep up with the trends maybe, and then maybe try to be somebody that you're not at times?
Definitely. I think that some women can probably lose themselves by marketing on social media and just kind of like growing into that industry. I think that there's a certain image that women have to portray and a certain look that people feel like, oh, okay, like, because you know how some people say like, oh, she looks like an Instagram model. Like that's kind of like a thing that has developed over time as a way to describe women who have this certain look that's, I don't want to say plastic, but that's kind of the way that I feel like people relate to it. Like there's a certain way that women are starting to adapt to just fit that image of what an Instagram girl should look like, you know? So I don't know, I definitely think that women can kind of get lost in that world of trying to...
So does it cause insecurities? Do you think that it causes insecurities?
I wouldn't say insecurities, but like Leah was saying, it's definitely about a look. You see a lot more women posting, you know, full face makeup, pictures, and, you know, like, I guess promiscuous clothes, you could say, as opposed to women that are posting pictures of just their bare face, you know, in sweatpants. Like, that's a little more rare. And like Leah was saying, everybody has a booking info nowadays in their bio, you know, whether they're selling you some tea, they're selling you some workouts, they're selling you a full face of makeup. Like it's, you know, it's become an industry, and it's all about consumerism. And I think for women especially, because for men, you know, of course there's, you know, the opposite of that. There's personal trainers all over Instagram as well. But for women, it's like you can find anything, and there are like boutiques and stuff that are just based straight off of Instagram. You know, Fashion Nova like blew up off of Instagram, so it's a lot about profit nowadays. But I think it's for some women, it's also about a confidence boost that people are looking to get a little bit of that extra. You know,
Thank you for saying that.
You know, because some people don't get like nowadays you don't walk up in the grocery store and someone's like, hey, you know, like, I like how you put yourself together today. Like, but on Instagram, it's more likely to happen, and some people look for that extra boost of like confidence, of like
the compliments and the likes.
Yeah.
Right. So I just want, like, don't let that affect your real world life, because again, Instagram isn't real life. So I feel like sometimes women, we might, I mean, you guys might get caught up in that life and not realize your purpose or where you're going, and realize that you can get all these likes and all these DMs or whatever, but that's not forever.
Right.
You still need that forever feeling from a relationship or wherever you're going. And I think sometimes we get caught up in that, and as men looking from the outside in, I mean, they see that and they might not take it serious, so it might like affect you guys in a negative light.
The cool part is that we all know that there's a stigma to how not even just men, but other women see other women on social media. You know, you have the ones who feel they need to be morally responsible and not show certain things because they don't want to be looked at a certain kind of way. And, without trying to, bash women who use social media for their business and post promiscuous posts, it's hard for men to, without knowing them, to fully respect that, because we don't know who that woman is. If we sit down and have a conversation with her and she has a good head on her shoulder, we're like, okay, maybe she's not a hoe. Maybe she's actually really on here to do her thing. Maybe she's, there's something behind it. Social media doesn't just show that. All we see is the post, the caption, whatever it might say. So it's, from a man's view, it's difficult for us to gauge. And, me and Amal were actually talking about it off camera. It's like, it kind of is the way it is because there's a higher percentage of women who do use social media to reach a certain plateau they feel is success to them, but it's not real life. You know what I mean?
But what do you mean by it's not real life?
I like to say it's a fantasy world in a sense of they're just likes, but people seek likes for validation for what they're doing. But in reality, it means nothing because a lot of these women let these numbers of followers get to their heads, and they become consumed with that. And it's like that's their reality, but in the reality of the real world, it means nothing. For some people, it does because it can get you paid for here and there. But I think that's a different spectrum of as people chasing a career off of it.
So how do you determine which girls are actually using it as a career platform versus the girls who you think are just using it to?
Me personally, I have no opinion on that in the sense of who's chasing a career and who's doing it just for the likes. Because I think it just goes off into you're gonna tell who's making money and who's just got the numbers, right? But the people who both got the numbers, their attitudes are usually both the same. 9 times out of 10, the girl who really ain't making money and got the numbers really got the worst attitude than the girl who's making money. So my opinion on that is it's just for a male perspective, you can't really approach everybody because they feel on higher than you, honestly, because of Instagram. And it's tough to gauge, like you said, to even have just a decent conversation with anybody. And honestly, the numbers just make people a little more stuck up sometimes.
For sure.
Just because they are seeking, you look nice today, that you don't get something in the grocery store. But it's it's just not the reality. Because I know people who ain't got nothing in the reality of the real world, but on Instagram, it's amazing. And their fans think it's amazing.
And what's funny, with that, no lie, I have on my personal Instagram 2,000 legit followers. I was in LA, came across a chick who I know personally, and she has 44,000 followers. And we were having a conversation, and she's a bottle service girl at a club or whatever. And I was talking to her about wanting to go to the club or whatever, and for some reason, she thought that because my followers aren't where hers are, that I wouldn't be able to afford to get a table at the place that she worked at. Yeah. She's like, you only have 2,000 followers. You sure you want to get a table? I was like, I make more money than you do. How are you going to assume because my followers aren't where yours are? Yeah. And I know how much money you make. But don't make my follower count determine what you think I make. I don't make that determination on you simply because I know you, but using that as an argument is what kills me with not just women, but men also who have these followers but don't got a dime to their name, you know what I'm saying? So that's where that fantasy world, they really think that these likes translate into value.
It becomes an addiction.
Yeah.
And again, I was talking about in the conversation yesterday, it fills that void that you're not getting from something else. So then you're seeking for that every single day when you wake up. You're seeking for that every night because you're not getting something, whether it's at home, whether it's in the workplace, whatever it is. You're not getting that, and you continue to seek that, and it's filling that void for the time being, but it's not filling that void for the long run. And we got to think about that when we talk about Instagram and social media. So
It's crazy. Like, it's really crazy.
I mean, there's a pluses about it, and I think, like I said, it's through a women's type of lens. So the way I look at it, I mean, if you could support and really market your business, but actually have a legit business plan behind it, then by all means, do your thing.
Right.
But I just think there's a lot. I mean, and just in the real world, there's a lot more businesses that fail than succeed, and it's going to be the same on Instagram or any social media outlet. So I just think people can use it as a positive way, but it just gets deterred.
I would say just have a plan. Have a plan. I mean, for any woman watching or ladies, just have a plan whenever you're getting into it. I mean, if you're whatever you post, just have a plan behind it. Whatever you're trying to get out of it, whatever you're trying to seek out of it, just if it's for business, if it's for attention, whatever it is, just have some type of plan and be okay with saying, "Hey, this is for attention." Like I posted a picture because I want you to see my butt's looking nice. This is for attention, right? And it's cool, and I think we will gain, like as a whole, just as a society, you'll gain more respect for that because they know what your intentions are. You're not posting a Bible scripture and then you got your legs split open. Right? And that's what they do, and that's what I'm saying. Like you don't give I'm looking like. I'm not respecting you. And every man on social media is looking at that. When they slide in your DMs or whatever, they're coming from a place of lust. They're not coming from a place of, I want to know you from a knowledgeable place. Like, at all.
Not at all. Like, I told Clara earlier, I was like, the way she uses social media, she goes to yoga every morning and it's on Instagram and Snapchat. I mess with that type. Like, those people who are legit using it for, honestly, with no purpose whatsoever. Other than it's there and it's available to be used. That's what I respect mostly about women who use social media because there's no ulterior motive behind it. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what I would prefer mostly from women that I know. If it's not a business and if purely using it just to use it, I'm totally fine with that. But don't get caught in that fantasy place in between there and think that you're getting some type of validation for it or it means more than what it is, like you said, or just let it be known.
I mean, by all means, like just do your thing. Because I feel like social media is a positive, and we're especially in the new age now. Like it's so huge that we probably couldn't live without it in a sense. Like, and there's so many great things that come from it. Funny people, model, like it's so much. Like it's done so much for our lives. But like it's just like what we're using it for,
I think people, for me, like you said, I post a lot, but I don't post anything that's like, I have 3 little sisters and all of them are on social media, so for me, being the only, adult sibling, I kind of carry a lot of weight because my sisters are halfway across the world, so they kind of rely on what I post to keep up with what I'm doing, and it's important to me because my little sister, who's 10 years old, should not know that there are women out there with lip fillers, there are women out there with, fake butts, fake boobs, but she does, and it's largely because of social media, but it warms my heart to know that when she goes on my page, she doesn't see cleavage, she doesn't see anything, I post my accomplishments, I post my yoga every morning because I hope that people get up and go take their ass to yoga,
So that's good. You got like the next generation is going to see everything we post and look at it, so
and it doesn't go away, your digital footprint does not go away, you send a questionable photo somewhere, you post something questionable, it doesn't go away that easily. People get that misconception all the time. I deleted, it's gone. No, that's not how that works.
Right.
But I think that, I see a lot of people that post for various reasons. I post because I like to look at stuff later and be like, damn, this day was dope. Like I had a lot of fun, or I went on vacation, or I was with my girls. Like, I don't know. I think that it's hard because definitely like, if you don't get caught up in the numbers, and I don't care, 10 likes, 20 likes, who cares? But then you go and you're like, damn, this girl posted a picture of like her left thigh, and it got like 7,000 likes. So I'm like, I'm over here posting pictures of degrees. You know what I mean? It's not the same, but it's definitely it's a great way to stay connected, but it's a great way to be disconnected as well because you'll definitely get yourself lost and and especially if you're active on multiple platforms, like there's people glued to their phones all day, every day. I work in the restaurant industry and there's people on dates with their husbands and wives, like glued to their phone, like missing the moment because they're trying to capture a moment that doesn't really even exist, And the alternate reality.
Can I pose a question since it's like through a woman's lens? Like, how do y'all feel if y'all significant others like double tapping another woman's picture?
Ooh,
Well,
don't get me started.
it depends. It depends on the nature of the photo. If he's double tapping on pictures of a woman that's, partaking in a scripture with her open legs, then that's different than if he's,
It's his friend.
So the way that I see that personally, I'm not okay with my significant other liking random girls' photos. For me personally, I just feel like you don't know this person. Why are you liking her picture? If it's a friend, someone who comes up in your timeline, whatever, I don't care. But just a random girl that you don't know, to me, I'm just
So even if it's on his explore page,
No,
and he sees her
absolutely.
working out, man.
absolutely.
I like fashion. I like random women's fashion all the time just because she looks nice. I don't even know her, but I
See,
like
okay,
her outfit.
so then I think also a lot of that it comes with trust. Like I
Right.
feel like when you trust the person that you're with to like a high degree, it doesn't matter as much when you know like their hobbies. Like for example, my ex was really into motorcycles, so like I didn't care whether he would like pictures of like girls on a bike or whatever because I trusted him and I knew that like okay, this is his hobby, like he's just into that, whatever. But I feel like in other situations with people that I was dating or talking to, when that trust is not there, it makes you question things. Like, okay, why are you liking her picture? Like, do you think she's cute? Do you like her? Like, so I think it kind of goes hand in hand with trust. But majority, like the way that I see that, it's just, I'm not usually okay with that. I just think that it shows that woman that you're kind of interested in whatever it is that she posted.
Is it a question of the relationship? Like can social media and a double tap really break a relationship down?
I don't think that
I
it
would
can.
hope not.
I don't think that it can break a relationship. For me personally, I think that it's about being on the same page. It's about having open communication and letting the person that you're with or talking to, dating, whatever, know how you feel about certain things and just coming to an agreement. You're either going to agree with it or you're not. And I think at the end of the day, someone who really cares about you, social media is not that big at the end of the day. Like they're going to be like, okay, you don't like that? No problem. Like I don't think it's anything that can really break you apart unless social media has a big enough effect on that person, but I think for the most part.
Well, ladies, you guys are appreciated. Don't ever feel like you guys need to keep up with the Joneses and just be you at all time because we love women and we need women to survive.
And I'm gonna keep double tapping.
Appreciate y'all for coming out. Love
Thank
y'all.
you.
Thank you guys.